actually one that I recorded last. And I'm like, I have a video talking about there's something wrong with the Fever and how they look defeated, everything. And I still stand by those videos, especially because some of them are reactions at the time, right after the game. So I mean this when I say this. Fire Stephanie White yesterday. Like, fire her yesterday. And the reason why is not that Stephanie White is a bad basketball coach. It's not that Stephanie White is a bad motivational speaker. It's not that Stephanie White is doing a bad job defending her players. It's not any of that. It's that Stephanie White and Caitlyn Clark fundamentally have different understandings.
Guys, today we are going to dive into the Indiana Fever's latest controversy. Lynn Dunn called out Stephanie White for misusing Caitlyn Clark, turning a generational scorer into a peripheral passer. The clash isn't about coaching skill. It's about a fundamental disconnect in basketball philosophy. Dunn's frustration is palpable as she witnesses a star constrained while the team's offense collapses under confusion and indecision.
Go an entire game where they have not scored more than 20 points, where they have a quarter where they only score 9 points, and to call yourself a professional basketball team is pathetic. To call yourself a professional basketball coach of that team is pathetic. I watched that whole game, and other than Ari McDonald, Aaliyah Boston with a moment here and a moment there, nobody made any type of memorable impact on that game.
Watching this game, it's clear the Fever's struggles aren't Clark's fault. The offense is chaotic, defense non-existent, and the players outside of Boston and McDonald fail to make an impact. Dunn's eruption is a reaction to systematic underperformance. Her criticism highlights how professional standards are slipping. The team's inability to execute a cohesive plan makes losses inevitable, yet preventable if the star is properly utilized.
You lost was not because Caitlyn Clark didn't score the basketball. The reason you lost is because you stopped doing what was working. What works for the Indiana Fever, especially in that first half, was a pick and roll with Caitlyn Clark and Aaliyah Boston. All you have to do is have a pick and roll at the top of the key. Off that pick and roll, two defenders are going to go with Caitlyn Clark, leaving Aaliyah Boston to have a wide open lane. That is just the play you should go to every single possession. But how come we never go to it in back-to-back possession? We'll go to it one possession, the next possession we don't go to it. Why not? Stephanie White, why not? It always works. Two defenders are always going to go with Caitlyn Clark. There should never be a play where Caitlyn Clark brings the ball up the court and then she passes it and she runs off the play.
Dunn's critique isn't subtle. It's a wake-up call. Clark is being underutilized, the pick-and-roll strategy that worked in the first half is abandoned, and the offense stagnates. The video dissects plays, showing how the coach's approach neutralizes the team's main weapon. This is a lesson in recognizing talent and creating systems that amplify strengths, not bury them in inconsistent, ineffective schemes.
What was the game plan against her to kind of slow her down?
Well, like I said pregame, it was just to try to make everything as difficult as possible. Like, Asia's one of the best players in the world. You're not going to stop her. So we just needed to make it difficult. And I thought AB did. But Asia did what great players do. And they step up in the fourth quarter. And that's what she did.
Caitlyn's one of the real the past few games. Just what have you said to her, or what has she said about keeping that confidence in?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is what we have to do as a staff to get her better looks, like higher quality looks. Every game plan is going to be to make her score inside the
narrative expands beyond a single game. Clark's confidence and fire are fading due to restrictive coaching. Dunn observes a player forced into passive roles, while the team struggles to create space or scoring opportunities. Social media erupts, fans dissecting every play, while Clark's off-ball movements silently signal distress. This segment demonstrates the domino effect poor strategy can have on player morale and performance.
Yes, the definition of Murphy's Law is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Now, I'm being kind of dramatic here, but the Indiana Fever are down coach Stephanie White for an indeterminate amount of time. She is out for personal reasons. Stephanie White and her partner, Lisa Salters, who is also a sideline reporter for some NBA games. She is a sideline reporter for the NFL. They were both out at the same time, most recently, like a couple weeks ago. This is completely a personal reason, but there's obviously something that they're dealing with at home. But the adversity that the Indiana Fever have faced this season, I don't know that I've ever seen a team just go down so many key players and key factors to the roster. I mean, I don't know if a coach would be like a key roster member.
Intervenes publicly, demanding accountability. Clark is a generational talent, yet the system treats her as a decoy. White's intentions may aim at balance or development, but the execution risks stifling the star's potential. The commentary emphasizes how crucial alignment between talent and strategy is. A mismatch leads to frustration, lost games, and a spectacle of mismanagement, where the executive's passion becomes a necessary corrective force.
Understandings. What Stephanie White wants to do is not going to work for this team. It is not going to work for this team. What Stephanie White wants to do will not work. And by the way, I'm not saying what Stephanie White wants to do is won't work in general. Won't work in general. Because it has worked. She's had success. But I'm saying what Stephanie White wants to do will not work for this team specifically. And let's take a listen to what Caitlyn Clark said. And she essentially exposed that Stephanie White wants him to play.
Saga concludes with the team slowly adjusting to Clark's strengths, though the damage lingers. Fans and analysts weigh in as the Fever attempt to course correct. Clark remains composed, yet the lesson is clear. Coaching must empower talent, not restrain it. This story is a case study in strategic misalignment and how accountability from experienced voices like Dunn can trigger meaningful change. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.